Sharon Van Etten here in the Bloodworks live studio. Thank you so much for coming out today. I was actually thinking to myself, touring with an upright bass has got to be something. And then I'm thinking to myself, couldn't just a regular bass guitar do? Until that song, and you pulled out the bow, and I'm like, there it is. That's pretty amazing. Thank you for playing that song. And thank you for being here. At what point in the tour are we right now? Are we deep in? Are we at the beginning?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
We started the U.S. tour on February 6th.
Okay.
And this one ends March 1st. But then we're touring Europe and Australia, New Zealand, back to Europe.
So your 2019
yada, yada.
is just mapped out.
See ya.
Yeah. This is it.
Yeah. This is pretty much it.
And are there any breaks in there to return home and have any sort of regular life?
I mean, I don't think there's a regular life right now, but it's 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off, pretty much until the fall. So
you get kind of used to living out of a suitcase and sleeping where you can, or do you? How do you live?
Don't get used to it.
No, okay.
Don't get used to it. But you know, there are days you're like, I prefer not to eat out of a box.
Right.
But you know, it's. I feel very lucky because I'm surrounded by a lot of great people that make it feel like home away from home.
Sure, and it sounds like you've got a great tour manager. You were sharing backstage a little act of kindness by your tour manager last night. Was it last night this happened?
Yes, we had a day off in Boise, you know, and those can be days where you're kind of wondering what you're going to do. But she found a really, really beautiful spot where we all sat down and had a dinner for 10 and like a very farm-to-table restaurant and even made special menus for our wonderful vegan and gluten-free band members, and which is really hard to come by in some states, some towns.
Yeah.
And it was a really lovely meal with people that took such pride in their food, and it was a nice way to come together on a day off. And
probably a good moment to get away from the hustle and bustle and eating out of a box.
Exactly. We took our time.
Yeah. A lot has changed in your life since the last album came out in 2014. One of which is probably maybe the most important. You became a mom.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's almost 2.
Almost 2. How? I mean, I think those of us that are parents, we kind of get it. But I mean, you as somebody who is a musician and now an actor, and then throwing in a baby and all of that. I mean, what do you do day to day? How does that work? How do you make it happen?
Well, I think you don't really have. You try not to set your expectations too high on yourself, and you do the things you have to do, and it's one foot in front of the other. It's what the universe is presenting to you. I love starting my day with him when I can because he's just really fun, and I love experimenting with food and watching him run around and play. But you know, he got to an age where he needed to be around other kids, and we started bringing him to daycare, and he has so much fun playing with other kids his age. And
that moment's a little weird, isn't it? Where like you think your kid needs you, and then suddenly you realize they don't need you that much, or at least it feels that way.
Well, especially him being an only child, and I was of one of 5, and I wanted to make sure I paid attention to him being around other children because I think you learn a lot more, and you start copying what they're doing, and you start asking more questions, and he's just matured maybe is not the right word, but for being 2, but he's learned quite a lot, and he is growing at a rate that I can't keep up with.
The new album, Remind Me Tomorrow, came out about a month ago, back in January. How was your approach different to this album than it was the one in 2014 and previous stuff you've done?
Well, I feel like there was a bit more intention with this one because I had time off, and there's also more of an alter ego involved with the production of the songs. And even though it's a version of myself, it's like just Mama's taking off her mom jeans and putting on her tighter jeans, and like maybe putting on a little extra eyeliner for the shows and for the videos. But, you know, I think that every time I make a record, I'm more serious about my career, and not knowing if I was going to return to music, I feel like I came back just wanting to explode and show people that I still am doing this and I still have something to say. And I'm so happy in my life. I'm not brokenhearted. I'm in a much better place, and I wanted to share that with people too.
Yeah, the album is wonderful. I recommend everybody download it, buy it, and why don't we hear more music from it? All right. Sharon Van Etten here in the Bloodworks Live studio.